There are several billion people living on Earth now. There is hardly one of them who has not heard anything about God, cosmic intelligence, higher powers. Faith in higher powers and in God has been preserved from ancient times to the present day. As tens of thousands of years ago, so now people turn to God in a difficult moment, trying to find support or protection from Him.
Sometimes people's faith in God weakens. In our country, the years of Soviet power contributed to this. It was generally believed that people believe in God because of fear and lack of education. Faith is the lot of uneducated elderly people. It has been replaced by faith in science.
Modern science really explains many natural phenomena, discovers new secrets, and it seems that soon there will be none left. People believed in the power of reason. However, the mind is helpless. As soon as some hurricane, wind or flood, tornado or earthquake does not destroy in some moments all that it has been creating for years and does not turn its life into a miserable existence, then the person fatally throws up his hands in his impotence, realizing that he is not able to change anything.
On the top of Mount Antake, rescuers found the mobile phones of tourists who managed to videotape their deaths. Young climbers died trying to capture the ash cloud that rose from the crater, and these shots turned out to be the last for them. On the recording, they can be heard trying to breathe with the last of their strength.
A person feels the hopelessness of his situation and his inability to resist circumstances only when fate drives him into a dead end, or brings down one misfortune after another on his head.
Science, with all its might, is not always able to protect people, even from flu or colds, let alone from an earthquake or a volcanic eruption. Intuitively, many observant and thinking people have always felt that someone is controlling them, that there are forces standing above them. On the one hand, people believed in the existence of higher powers. On the other, they forgot about their faith when everything was well in a person's life.
However, as soon as a person faces a serious problem in life, even an inveterate atheist begins to wail in despair, "Lord, why am I being punished?" The reason for this behavior of people is pride, belief in the omnipotence of reason. A person lives by the illusion of complete freedom and the ability to do whatever comes into his head.
Unbelieving people explain the troubles that occur in life by chance, by coincidence. But an observant person notices that a certain pattern is hidden behind the accidents. To deny the existence of higher forces is just as unreasonable as to deny the existence of air just because we don't see it.
Even traditional science has accumulated many inexplicable facts. Modern photo and video equipment registers clumps of energy that have a well-defined human shape. In the video, these energies behave purposefully and intelligently. There are many facts in the history of mankind when mysterious messengers from the invisible world not only appeared to people, but they also communicated with people, warning them about upcoming events and dangers.
Vanga. It was the 5th of April, after lunch. I'm sitting on a chair, and he came to me, and I saw him with my darkened eyes, as you see me nay. This man came and stopped in front of me, a man with a horse. You are, he says, so and so and so. He stopped and said, you will see and tell who is alive and who is dead. As thousands of years ago, so now there are people with unusual abilities who can get in touch with the invisible world, with the divine world, the world of the higher mind, which, like man, improves its qualities on the path of eternal evolution. We will tell you about the philosophy of the higher ones, explaining how our world works, according to what laws it exists, what the soul is, and how it develops.
Matter is everything that surrounds us. It exists in a variety of forms and has an inexhaustible variety of properties. Our world is made of matter, and materialism is a trend in philosophy that believes that matter is primary and spirit and consciousness are secondary. Materialism studies the laws of the development of matter, but does not give an answer to the question why exactly these laws work and where they came from.
It does not answer the question of where the matter of our world came from, in what form it existed before the universe appeared. And most importantly, materialism denies the existence of an immaterial, subtle world, despite the fact that modern science has accumulated enough facts of the existence of this world.
So Isaac Newton, a scientist, physicist, mathematician, wrote, "The heavenly Lord rules the whole world as the ruler of the universe. We marvel at him because of his perfection, revere him, and worship him because of his boundless power." And Albert Einstein, the physicist, the creator of the theory of relativity, claimed, "I believe in God as a person, and I can honestly say that I have not been an atheist for a single minute of my life."
Truth is multifaceted, like a diamond, in which everyone sees only one of its facets and describes it in his own way. Due to the fact that people do not have a holistic and unified view of life, the truth seems contradictory. The reason for this is a lack of knowledge. Therefore, if one theory comes into conflict with another, it is necessary to look for new facts that could eliminate the contradictions. Only a single knowledge can give an idea of the integral volume of the diamond of truth.
Any facet of it is a plane with its own laws, but all facets together already exist according to other laws. Therefore, when asked which knowledge is the most correct scientific, religious or esoteric, we can say this: all this knowledge is the facets of one diamond, one truth, and you need to be able to see everything at the same time.
Science is used to operating with facts that can be proved, and mainly studies the phenomena of the physical world. But it has already accumulated a lot of new knowledge that goes beyond the physical world. For example, the German theoretical physicist, the founder of quantum mechanics, Max Planck, states, "Wherever we turn our eyes, whatever the object of our observation, we do not find a contradiction between science and religion anywhere.
Rather, we state their absolute harmony in the main points, especially in the field of natural science. Both religion and science, in the final result, seek the truth and come to the confession of God. In this way, both religion and science reveal to us a part of the truth in one way or another. However, over time, everything becomes obsolete, including knowledge. For example, the first books of the Bible were written several thousand years ago. At that time, people did not have modern knowledge, and to say now that only the Bible contains the most accurate knowledge is not true.
The first Christian philosophers had heated discussions with each other, Often the winners of the dispute persecuted the defeated, exiled them, and even starved them. Gradually, religious dogmas were established in religion, which all believers should take on faith, and those who have a different opinion were considered heretics. We do not detract from the importance of religion for a person, and respect the feelings of believers.
Religious institutions were conceived from above as schools of spirituality for the development of higher qualities of the soul in a person, such as love, mercy, compassion. But what is conceived from above is not always embodied by a person exactly according to the planned plan.
The reason for this is freedom of will, which is given to a person as a tool for self-improvement, and a prerequisite for the formation of the above-mentioned positive qualities in the soul. Therefore, time always requires updates, as a chance to correct the mistakes of the past, improve what is available, and supplement it with new ones that correspond to the spirit of the times and the level of modern development.
Esoteric philosophy recognizes the existence of God and gives knowledge not only about how our world was created and how it works, but also answers the question why the world was created and why it is arranged that way.
Can esoteric knowledge be trusted? Are they true? How accurate are they?
It should be understood that any knowledge, including the knowledge given by esoteric philosophy, does not fully reflect the truth. And the point here is not in the limitations of esoteric philosophy, but in the person, his level of development and perception. It is the level of human development that does not allow us to know the truth in its entirety.
A person lives in the material world and operates with the concepts of this world. Our language simply does not have the right words to describe the energy worlds. We have to simplify knowledge by using what is already known to man and gradually introducing new concepts.
And only after getting acquainted with the new facets of truth can you rise to a new level of development and cognition.
The soul is a concept that came to us from the past.
Even in ancient times, people were aware of the existence of an eternal and invisible to the eye basis, which is located inside it.
Knowledge about the soul has been preserved in the customs and traditions of different peoples, so ingrained in people's minds that we do not notice them in everyday life, although we regularly use them. For example, elementary school students study concepts such as animate and inanimate objects. Alive means animate, or having a soul. Not alive means inanimate, or having no soul. Any student who has mastered the school curriculum will easily call a person, animals, birds, fish animated, without even thinking about the true essence of this word.
Knowledge about the soul is given through people who could receive it thanks to their abilities. These are prophets, clairvoyants, saints, psychics, mediums, contactees. At different times, and among different peoples, ideas about the soul differed. Now people are given modern knowledge about the soul. That's what we're going to talk about.
The soul is an energetic substance, or an energetic form of life.
This is not a foggy cloud melting like smoke, but an eternal and heavy-duty construction, stronger than the material human body.
The human biological body is short-lived. The average lifespan of people is about 70 years. The soul can exist forever.
The human biological body consists of atoms. The soul as an energy structure is made of energies. Figuratively, we can say about the soul that it consists of energy particles, of which there can be an infinite number.
Where do souls come from anyway?
The creation of a soul is a complex and lengthy process, so each soul has its own purpose and is created with a specific purpose.
Every person has a soul, but it does not appear at the moment of conception of a child or at his birth, but is created even before the birth of a person.
It should be clarified that the soul can independently exist in the energy world. The human body cannot exist independently without a soul. First, the soul is created, and only then it connects with the human body.
You can deduce the following formula: man equals biological body, soul, left soul body, man died, biological body, soul corpse. Soul has a matrix or cellular structure.
Душа имеет матричное или ячеистое строение.
Matrix is a mathematical term that we will use in the future to describe the structure of the soul. This is a table filled with numbers.
The soul matrix, like the mathematical matrix, has cells or cells. Unlike a mathematical matrix, the soul matrix is filled with energies. This is the basis of the soul, or the core of the soul.
What does the mathematical matrix have to do with the soul?
The construction of the soul matrix can be represented in the form of honeycombs. Honeycomb is a special design for collecting and storing honey. The soul matrix is also a special design created by God, which is designed to collect and store energies.
Where do the energies come from in the cells of the matrix? Who is the bee that fills the cells of the matrix with energies?
The soul matrix is depicted as a sphere with cells.
These cells are designed to accumulate a wide range of energies. Each type of such energy is responsible for one or another quality of personality.
For example, the quality of diligence, the quality of compassion, or the quality of prudence. There are a lot of types of qualities, but before any person on the path of his progress, there are also qualities that are mandatory for mastering. Each person, due to his individuality, will give these relatively standard qualities his own individual color.
The spectrum of these energies develops in two opposite directions, relatively speaking. Plus and minus are positive and negative energies.
Positive energies include such qualities as love, mercy, creativity, diligence.
And to the negative ones, such as prudence, vindictiveness, hatred, selfishness.
The purpose of this process is to gain a normative base of qualities in the cells of the soul matrix. After that, the soul will continue its progression to higher levels of being, in positive or negative worlds, depending on the predominance of the qualities typed into the matrix.
This distribution among the opposition parties is characteristic of absolutely everything.
Higher, lower, higher, lower.
Plus, minus, left, right, cold, hot, thick, thin, long, short, light, darkness, and so on.
And so on. Such opposition is present in absolutely all values and concepts, without exceptions. Because it is the presence of opposites of states for the same object or process that allows these opposites to be compared with each other. And on the basis of this, to extract information data for constructing an image of the idea of the subject of research and the concept of its essence.
If there were no such dualism, then there would be no understanding, awareness, extraction of information, and perception of reality. Everything would just be as a given, lifeless and unconscious.
When God spiritualizes souls and creates worlds for their evolution, He is guided by His goals.
This is similar to how a person creates conditions for the progression and growth of his personality qualities, trains, accumulates experience, and thereby achieves personal growth and opens up new opportunities for himself.
So God, being at his own level of development and capabilities, grants the right of self-consciousness to parts of himself, spiritualizing them with individuality. Thus, as if bringing them to a new level of being, where they can already be aware of themselves and independently strive for progressive growth. It is precisely this conscious striving of the individual on the path beyond progress that is called spirituality.
Thus, the soul matrix inspired by God is a part of him, and by developing it, God develops himself. Everything is interconnected and interdependent.
The presence of oppositional structures at the heart of all living things is a mechanism for activating life itself. Two opposite quantities seem to be in constant resistance, confrontation with each other. Thus, they generate the dynamics of transformational transformations.
But it is not enough just to create an activity, it is necessary to manage the process.
For this, over the two opposites, there is always a control structure, control part.
Над двумя противоположностями всегда есть управляющая структура, управляющая часть.
It consists of both positive and negative energies, and its growth is due to the growth of two subordinate oppositions.
Двух подчиненных оппозиций.
That is, when two opposites develop, the controlling part grows with them at their expense.
Вместе с ними за их счет.
If we take the entire volume of the soul for 100%, then the control part is always equal to 50% of the volume. This is a kind of controlling stake that guarantees subordination and management.
The remaining 50% of the volume of the soul matrix is distributed between two oppositional parts, between the positive and negative parts.
It should be noted that none of these oppositions can completely disappear or be absorbed by the opposite. That is, if the soul gains only positive qualities, then let the negative one decrease to a minimum size of 1%, but it will not disappear completely from the volume.
Therefore, the control package of the energies of the controlling part of the soul will always exceed the positive or negative part in power. Thus, God always retains control and control over the volume of the soul's spiritualized matrix.
The initially created soul matrix is practically empty. Only 3% of the matrix volume is filled with energies when it is created. 1% of the soul cells are filled with positive energies, 1% with negative, and 1% with neutral. The soul must fill the remaining cells of the matrix itself.
The newly created soul has a matrix and one protective energy shell. That is, the matrix is the basis of the soul, and the soul itself is a matrix connected to one or more energy shells.
For example, the physical body of a person is also a temporary protective shell for the soul, which, like a spacesuit for going into outer space, allows the soul to integrate into the material world of the planet and fulfill its program of life from birth to death.
This structure of the soul is not accidental. As we have already mentioned, the creation of a soul is a complex process, and it is built according to certain rules or laws.
Let's name some of them: the law of spiritualization, the law of Trinity, the law of the beginning of all beginnings, the law of freedom of choice, the law of universal love.
These are the fundamental laws underlying everything imaginable and unthinkable, from the level of human development, being in the universe, of which the human form of life is also a microscopic part.
The laws can be found in detail in the book The Laws of the Universe, or the foundations of the existence of the divine hierarchy. Authors Larisa A. Sekletova and Lyudmila Leonovna Strelnikova.
All newly created souls are similar to each other, like twin brothers, but there are no two identical souls in the universe.
What makes souls different?
Development makes them different. A special mechanism is laid in each soul. This is the mechanism of individuality. Thanks to him, all matrices turn from the same, in the process of development, into different ones.
How does the soul matrix develop?
The matrix is a structure for processing energies and accumulating qualities. This means that the soul is a perpetual motion machine for processing energies.
Materialistic physicists claim that a perpetual motion machine cannot be invented.
We claim that there is such a perpetual motion machine. It is the soul. The soul does some work, thereby acquires the necessary experience, develops.
The soul is not accidentally called alive because it develops like any living organism. The concept of life now takes on a new meaning. People give life only to biological organisms.
We affirm that the soul is also alive. It also develops and grows due to the work it does.
The soul created by God is directed to the energy or physical world. The human soul works in the material world. Other souls can work in the energy worlds.
But the key word here is work.
Of course, in the energy world, there is no need to dig beds with a shovel, but these worlds are constantly being rebuilt, transformed and transformed by their working units' souls.
Our souls are in the earthly world and also do a certain job.
Let's give a figurative example.
You have decided to grow a crop. To do this, you need to dig up the earth, plant seeds, weed weeds, fight pests, add fertilizers, and only then you will get your harvest. That is, to grow something, you have to work hard.
In the same way, the soul, performing a certain work, receives the necessary energies into its matrix as a reward for its work. Gradually, the cells of the matrix are filled with energies.
Charles Darwin, the scientist who founded the theory of evolution, stated, "I have never been an atheist, in the sense of denying the existence of the Creator. Life had to be breathed into the first cell by the Creator. The world rests on laws, and in its manifestations is presented as a product of reason. This is an indication of its Creator."
The earth is a living organism.
We are used to considering only biological organisms alive, but the concept of alive is much broader than the concepts familiar to humans.
Let's give an example. For human life, food, water, and air are needed. Every cell of our body is also alive. It receives nutrients, water, and oxygen through a network of blood vessels. Waste products of each cell are excreted from the body. When there are not enough nutrients, signals from the body's cells through the nervous system enter the brain, and a person experiences a feeling of hunger or thirst. We take food and drink water to satisfy our needs. Approximately the same process occurs with the earth.
The earth also needs, by analogy with man, food, certain types of energy. Biological organisms, plants, fish, birds, animals, and humans supply the earth with these energies. The earth needs different types of energies, so the life forms of the planet will be different.
Земля нуждается в разных видах энергии, поэтому и формы жизни планеты будут разными.
Let's imagine a database that stores information about our souls. When the higher ones receive a signal about the Earth's needs for certain types of energy, the souls that are best suited for supplying the Earth with the necessary energies are selected on this basis.
Our souls are in the energy world, which is located above the Earth. When the right soul is selected, it is prepared on the subtle plane to move to the physical world.
If you have ever wondered why you were born in this country and in this place, then you should know that there is nothing accidental about this. Each new soul born on earth, according to the calculations of the higher systems, is strictly placed relative to other bodies in the world. This calculation is very accurate, and without it, not a single soul descends to earth.
For the incarnation of the soul in the earthly world, not only the place, but also the time of birth is important. The system that manages souls has a kind of graph that contains the characteristics of each earthly hour, minute, and second.
The place of birth of a person is chosen by combining the needs of the development of the earth, the soul itself, as well as the goals of higher personalities. Therefore, astrology is given to people as a science, so that they too advance in development in this direction and learn to connect themselves with the surrounding world, with energy processes.
A person needs to learn a simple truth: he participates in energy exchange with the outside world. During his life, a person allocates a huge amount of different types of energy. This is both the physical energy we are used to, for example, thermal energy, and subtle energy.
We produce energy when we work and rest, when we read books or watch TV, when we love or hate. Any of our emotions is also energy. It is no coincidence that after a quarrel with each other, many people experience a feeling of emptiness, fatigue. They are like a squeezed lemon.
Although there are those who provoke others into conflicts, such people are called energy vampires.
We can say that we and our souls are small power plants that generate energy.
This is what a person lives for in the first place. However, it should be understood that a person not only generates some types of energies, but also receives the necessary ones for himself.
For example, the Earth appeared in space not by itself, randomly, but was designed by higher forces. This is a huge expenditure of different types of energy. A person also receives from his determinate, heavenly teacher, the necessary types of subtle energies, without which he simply cannot live.
In the subtle world, certain laws apply, where everyone receives some types of energy and gives others. We can give such an example.
Energy can be compared to money. We work, we get a salary for our work, which we spend on our needs. In the subtle world, energy accounting is very accurate. You can't waste energy there without giving anything in return. It is in the earthly world that one can create a fortune by financial speculation. In the energy world, everyone gets only what they have earned.
However, it all depends on the level of the energy world, because in it too, there are low worlds in which deception is possible.
Less than a teaspoonful of dry anthrax in an envelope shut down the United States Senate in the fall of 2001. This forced several
The birth of a person and the descent of the soul from the subtle world into the physical world is also a certain expenditure of energy. When a soul descends to earth at birth, it is transmitted in the introduction to the heavenly teacher, guardian angel, or determinant of the person who will continue to accompany this soul through life.
The determinant is already a soul of a high level of development, but determinants also come at different levels. So each determinant gets the soul that best suits him for his level of development. The determinant must also progress. A less experienced soul will get a low level of development. A more experienced soul will get a more developed one. A low determinant can give little to a highly developed student, and a high-level determinant will be delayed in development by a low individual.
When the right soul is selected, The determinant studies information about his ward, the energy indicators of the soul, its future tasks, and begins to look for a couple from whom he would like to receive a material shell for his future ward. That is, he begins to look for future parents. Each soul must fulfill its own development program, so it is important that the soul appears in exactly the right place, and with those parents who are best suited for this.
The determinant in its database is looking for the right parents for its ward soul. It should be borne in mind that it is more correct when the soul is born in a family where there is a father and mother. If a child is born to a single mother, or if the parents are divorced, this disrupts the normal energy exchange in the family. In religion, abortion is considered a grave sin, comparable to murder.
This is not accidental, because a lot of energy is spent on preparing for the birth of a person from above, and the laws are such that a person will have to compensate for any expenditure of energy from above in one way or another. There are so-called energy debts, and as you know, the debt is red in payment.
People have the freedom to choose how to act, but they must understand that they are responsible to the higher ones for their choice.
You can learn more about the incarnation of the soul on Earth and the birth of a human being in the books of the authors Larisa Alexandrovna Sekletova and Lyudmila Leonovna Strelnikova, The Creation of the Soul. Vanga, tell everyone that a person would not be selfish, that he would not be jealous, would not do anything wrong. On the contrary, let him be kind, so that he would live with faith, with our faith.